Hello my crafty friends! Today we're going to be making these gorgeous whimsical coastal wind chimes slash hanging decor using Eco-Resin, driftwood, and a new favorite technique I've discovered, Underglaze Transfers, that are used for ceramics and pottery, but we're going to hack the system and use them for Eco-Resin, and I'm going to show you how right now. Today I'm going to be using a variety of silicone molds to pour a Resincrete in. Got these little fishy molds that you might have seen me use before. And Let's Resin makes a great set of different sized round molds. These are perfect for wind chimes, ornaments, you name it. I'm also working on a silicone mat and a leveling board. And of course we've got our Resincrete. This is an Eco-Resin by J. Diction. You just add water to it. It is mixed by weight and the ratios are on the back of the bag. Easy peasy. So first I add in my water and then I put in my Resincrete powder. And it'll be really lumpy and bumpy when you start to mix it up, but don't worry, it starts to blend and smooth out pretty quickly. You have about an 8-minute working time before you need to pour. And then just pour into your molds. All of my supplies will be listed in the description below the video, and there are discount codes for quite a few of these products. So be sure to check that out and save yourself some money. We always like to save money. Once you get these poured, give them a little bit of a jiggle and a wiggle to help release the air bubbles and let them settle better into the mold. Now these just need to sit for 20 to 30 minutes and they're ready to demold. It's pretty amazing stuff. I want to give a big shout out to my channel members and those of you who have reached out and bought me a coffee. The extra support is greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Now I'm going to let these continue to dry out for another few hours. It really just depends on how thick the mold is before moving on and sealing them with Resincrete sealer. If you saw my last video, you know you don't want to miss this step. It helps our transfers adhere much better. I'm going to let these sit overnight and then we're going to be ready to apply our Underglaze Transfers. Aren't these fish so cute? They make these in all kinds of designs. I'm just going to cut out the fish that I want to use. Be sure to flip them with the ink side down. And you just need a sponge and some water. Now it takes a little practice getting the right amount of water in the sponge and dabbing it on. And you'll see, I'll show you a couple examples of too much water, too little water, etc. And not all of these fish fit on my circles, but I just love the colors and the patterns in them, and that's what I'm going for. I just thought after my last project when I used these on that cool bowl that these would make the cutest coastal decor wind chimes. And on these little baby fish, I'm just going to use some of the patterns in the fish to put on these. Now I'm ready to apply another round of water onto the fish. So I'm going to go over these 2 or 3 times with the water, letting them dry and then reapplying it. And now they're ready to peel up. Now because these are made for ceramic and pottery, they kind of have a distressed look. But I'm okay with that. I don't hate that at all. I actually love that look. Here's an example of when I put too much water on my transfer. You can see it's just smeared, but the great thing about sealing these ahead of time is you can just take water, wipe it off, and start all over. You can let them dry all the way before you peel them, but you will have some of that paper will try to stick to it. So I always recommend giving a little extra dab of water if you're going to let them dry all the way before you peel up the paper. You could see on this one it was kind of sticking, and all you have to do is get it a little bit damp and it'll come right off. And if you have any that have a little smudge of ink around them or you want to fix them up, just get a wet Q-tip and you can clean them right up. That fish looks grumpy. That's a grumpy fish. Now that that's done, I'm going to take some of my little fish and glue them onto my bigger circles, just to give it a little more dimension. Now, in order to seal these, you can use UV resin. And this is from my last video. It worked great. However, when you use the UV resin, you lose a lot of the sound that the wind chimes make that I like. So instead of that, I'm going to use Gloss Krylon UV resistant clear acrylic coating. And I'm going to give these a good spray front and back several times. And now I need to add a hole to the bottom of our circles. I've got one in the top from the mold, but I want a second hole. And I'm just using a Dremel. And for those of you who've always wondered, can you drill through Eco-Resin without it cracking? Well, yes, you can. Now to get out some of our wood pieces, I've got some driftwood I've collected and some wood that I have bought. These also need holes drilled in them. And I picked up this tray of glass beads for half off at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to go through and pick out some that I think will complement the colors of our fish. And then I'm using a wax cord and a beading wire, which is kind of like fish line. So if you have fishing line, feel free to use it. And now it's just a matter of using your imagination and designing your wind chime with all of the pieces. And you could even make the beads out of resin if you wanted. I'm no wind chime building expert, so this might not be perfect for any of you out there that are experts at wind chime building. This is just my go at it. And I realized I should have put the prints on the back of my circles too, not just the front. But after I sprayed that Krylon, it wouldn't stick. So on some of them, I backed them with extra pieces I had made. And here is my final project. I'd love to know which one is your favorite. And I hope that I've inspired you to get crafty too. Have a great day and we'll see you next time.